pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you for coming to the May 6th Selectmen's meeting. Roll call, John Hotchkiss here.
Joe Bailey here.
Jim Knapp here.
Okay, the ever popular signature items. Looks like we had a Board of Selectmen meeting on April 29th.
Yeah, what was,
Was-
can I just ask a question? Yeah, I
Yes.
had that too.
That's not our regular meeting.
Right.
But we posted it because we had a chance to hire a part-time assistant to work with Janelle,
Deputy.
Oh, okay, good.
okay?
Good.
Nice.
So, as luck would have it, she's a part-time tax collector, town clerk for the town of Pittsfield.
Oh, no
So
kidding.
she is knowledgeable. She's willing to come over here, I don't know, once a week, sometimes twice a week. And that will help Janelle with on-the-job training,
Right.
okay? We were fortunate to get the person.
That
Yeah.
works out.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of April 29, 2019 as written.
Okay, Stephen,
I second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right. Switzer, that sounds like a name from some property that.
Hey, John, just so you know, this is going through too, this is for the non-publics that you went through, just to sign that you,
Yep,
we've
okay.
gone through some. This is for the file.
So Switzer is CD 57.
Yep,
CD
This
is
is-
compact disc?
no,
No.
consideration, declaration for real estate.
It sounds like some kind of military plane or
So
something.
this is just transferring that parcel they repurchased back to them.
Okay. And without getting into all the details,
Thank you.
when they paid it back, it was with penalties and interest.
Yes.
They paid everything.
Oh, is this property right here?
Yeah.
New Durham.
Oh, this is 70,
You sign right above your name and then you pay for it.
So
Again.
the town got it and they bought it back?
Yeah.
yeah.
And the sorry note of it is, they were this close to paying up sometime last
Yeah.
summer, but there's more than one, I think there's like two sisters that own it, and pointing at each other. Result was neither one of them paid, result was,
They lost it
right,
temporarily.
and now they wait 6 or 8 months, and I guess they now agree, but the money they're paying now is more than they would have paid if they were within a few $100s of being caught up, and
Well, maybe that'll be
Didn't
the
work.
lesson.
so,
You know, when you said siblings.
Mhm. Yeah, I told my mom, everything in writing. Don't make me fight my siblings for getting things sorted.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
alright, 05 06 20
What's that?
Okay, good. How about a tax recommittal letter?
Yep, that's from Vashon Cloquet. That's for the switching of the tax collector. So basically, they had to audit the taxes, take them out of Kathleen's name,
Mhm.
redo a warrant in Janelle's name, so they have to recommit them. So this is the letter. Basically, the same thing they do for the audit every year. They basically had to do a mini audit.
Is there any need for another audit with regards to the new part-time person?
No, because it's really not her bill, it's Janelle's bill.
Okay.
She just works under Janelle. So that just has to go to the chair, yeah.
This came about because in March, the townspeople did not vote to split the jobs. So
Correct.
they're all, the two jobs are back together. Okay, that's good.
That's right, okay, this is action.
Next, certified computer pre-approvals.
Okay, now that the budget is approved, they're gonna do the new computers, I need to order them. It's gonna be about 2 months before they actually install them, we order them now.
It's all part of a contract, correct?
Yeah, and it was approved at town meeting, it's part of the budget.
Who's getting new computers?
One is the welfare,
Okay,
The the one that's at the window for the state, that one's being replaced. The main computer at the fire station and patrol one downstairs. Those are the oldest, so it's on the rotation.
but we kind of sort of have all the computers together on the one, repair bill
Yes,
yearly. Okay.
yeah, and so every year we'll replace 4, the oldest,
Right.
and on the cycle, so I think it's every 5 years, the first ones will be recycled again, so.
And how long will we know before that gets replaced? Like,
She said it could take up to 8 weeks.
okay, but we'll get a heads up.
Yeah, oh yeah, because they have to schedule a date to actually come out and actually do the switch over.
I don't think I'm the only oldest person in here, but some of us remember when you had manual typewriters. They didn't last 4 years, they only lasted 40 years.
Well, the technology didn't change that much.
Right, yeah, it was,
Well, they
Pretty
did
much
come
the
out
same.
with an electric.
that's right, yeah. And then they came out
That's a
with
big deal.
IBM Selectrics, they had the ball that kept spinning around.
Was what?
Little attempt.
I can remember,
Let
when
my
I worked,
dog in.
when I worked for down East Main,
Yeah, no,
Oh,
sometimes.
He gets plenty of treats, but I don't know if he'll mind his manners. I'll try.
remember when I worked down East Main, the oil company I worked, they had the first computer they got, they had this big green paper, like this
Oh, yeah,
wide,
yeah.
big box of it, and like that, and that's how it did their.
That's how the bills,
they-
everything came out, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, you sit there, the thing just
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back and was like a million miles an hour, it's like, holy crap, that's
Yeah.
fast, you know?
Well, Joe. Not that I'll do you, but the first computers, when a room twice the size of this, and everything was fed through, what's it called, key punch cards?
Yep.
You bring a box of, that had all the steps of your program, and you'd give it to them. You weren't allowed in the room, and they would run it, bring it back, and give it back to you with all the mistakes in it, and you'd have to figure out what you did wrong, and resubmit it again. Was a key punch machine, you'd type it in, up here would be the card, type it in, flip it up and bring it over. Flip it up, and a program could have 200 or 300 of these cards. All right, enough of this. Certified computer pre-approvals.
You just did that one.
How about photo ID equipment?
So I just want approval because it's over the allotted to purchase the thing. It's also within the budget. This is the one that Blodgett wanted to do staff IDs, so we don't have to order them out every year. We just make our own. It's part of our budget that we approved during the,
Now, would the police also use it when they take pictures of a suspect?
That'd be nice.
Just an idea. Ah, didn't come. Check this out.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, the only person in the audience we're gonna listen to tonight
Is that,
Not far.
Well, if I didn't go get him, he would have been the one you were listening to.
Jeez, look at those paws, oh my word.
you know, we do the whole kit, which does the dual, I think it's this one that he wanted.
Oh,
I don't think it's just, it could be this one, but they're exactly the same, it's just one, yeah. One's going on,
How old?
warranty.
About a year.
So all the police have IDs,
Really?
like the fire department can get an ID, code enforcement can get an ID, the highway can get IDs, that's all, and to make our own instead of submitting.
Gotcha.
It was,
Should we have
about half
IDs?
again.
You can. Anybody can, yeah.
No.
Big question for the three of them. Should we have nameplates?
You can get those.
He would have just lived right here and.
Yes.
We do, I know.
completely
Oh,
Should I bring it out?
At the,
this is what they're looking at.
school
right
board
now.
meeting, they have them. Okay,
Yep.
Alright,
yeah,
I just want it on the record so I can pre-approval purchase, because I'll probably end up buying it online, so.
okay.
Well,
All right,
that's an office mascot right there.
like how you get the additional.
yes. I'd like to do cemetery agreement first, and then we'll talk about the highway, yeah. Fire department, too. Okay. What's up with the cemetery agreement?
The letter came in to pay Wakefield for the $1,200 annual, I just wanna know, are we paying that bill this year?
I have an opinion.
Yeah, please, I'm looking for opinions on this.
I don't believe we should have to pay it.
because I don't think it's an agreement that we can have, to have someone buried there, but I mean, anybody can call up to be buried there. So, we're not getting anything for our money.
Can they technically refuse to let you bury someone there? I mean,
Some towns can, but I called
Milton,
Farmington, Milton, maybe New Durham. And they all say, if you pay, you can be
Right.
buried here.
so I don't know why we need an agreement.
Well, growing up in Goffstown, only Goffstown residents can be buried there.
Right.
so I
So,
suppose it could change, they could institute a,
right,
but it.
at
well, I
the
guess
rate
you have
people
an
are dying here, I
agreement,
guess
they
it's
can-
fine.
But the agreement is year to year anyway, so.
Well, the 3 years we've done this, I think the 4th year going into it, we've never used it.
Right.
At $1,200 a pop, that's $4,800 we're spending
Right.
for
Which-
And how
absolutely
much is a
nothing.
plot?
Right, that's my question.
It's, yeah, I don't think it's.
So you probably could have bought several for what you spent.
Right. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, if we don't sign the agreement, we have other options
Yes.
for disposing of someone's remains if
Yes.
if necessary. Most families are gonna be opinionated as to where they want to go anyway.
Right.
I have a backhoe, so,
It'll probably be less
For that-
money.
We got our own cemetery.
For that matter, there are many cemeteries,
yeah, and these
private
guys have a
cemeteries.
cemetery, so we're good.
True or false? Within reason, you can be buried on your own property.
Yes,
Yes, you can. I don't know how many requirements you have to
Yeah,
meet,
there's
but you
rules.
can be.
there it is, I know, because we had some friends that did it, right, with Ken's Brad's sister. And I think there were, I remember them talking, there were some things that they had to go through, but they did bury her on the family. That was a long time ago.
Go ahead.
There's a book at most public libraries called Caring for the Dead, and it explicitly lists all of the different regulations to the point of that publication for the different states. And in New Hampshire, a family member can sign as the undertaker and take care of transporting the body. You can buy your casket down at Royal Casket, there's one down on
Home
Route
Depot.
1.
Well, Walmart,
If you-
I
if
do
you go
believe
through-
Walmart sells them.
If you go through the process of being your own undertaker, picking up your own casket, taking the body to the crematorium, and this is a service we did for my mother to maximize the amount of money she could leave for the grandchildren, which is what she wanted to do. We handled the entire process for less than $500.
Yeah,
That was in New Hampshire.
That's in New Hampshire.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I read one time that New Hampshire is one of the states where if you don't have to be involved.
That
I
if you
thought-
are, if you're going to be cremated, you definitely don't
No,
have to be
no, no,
involved.
but I mean,
And
I thought that
it
I
is
had
true.
read that,
it is true that you do not need to be involved in New
Right.
Hampshire.
so pretty much they could just jump in and,
Inside voice.
True or false? You can build your own casket.
True.
Why not?
You can.
Hope so.
Yeah.
before, of course.
All right, so what is your pleasure? I would pass on signing it.
I'll make a motion not to accept the new contract to be signed for the agreement for the burial of the cemetery.
I second that, because I don't believe we get anything for it.
Right.
If I'm
It's
gonna go
not
out.
really a contract, it's a bill.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
So we
Just to verify, now this is to give townspeople the option of being buried there, or this is for
Indigent.
people who do not have somebody to make arrangements?
The indigent,
Okay.
I think it's more than indigent, I think it's everybody
Right.
that would be buried there, any Middleton resident.
Okay, so you'd have to pay for, or in this case, she says you, if the resident
It
wanted to
looks
pay.
like my hound
no.
dog,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
just
not.
So,
Agreement, they have to
My hound dog
accept
like
people
3
from
times the size of them.
Middleton, but other towns,
You should see.
Farmington, Milton, so on, just routinely accept them. You pay,
yeah, so just.
You
go
go.
to a different town.
go ahead.
I know Roger has not been feeling well lately, so I don't know, is anyone working on the cemetery program or whatever we're planning? Is anybody working on any of that at all?
At the moment, no.
I've always said I would like to have a cemetery in town.
At the cost.
Albeit small or whatever. I know we had talked about, I didn't realize that the cost would be quite as,
It's astronomical.
but I just think it would be good if we always kept our eyes open. If we came up with a piece of land that would be, you know, that we think would be doable for a reasonable amount of money, it would be nice. It would definitely be something that I'd be interested in trying to help out with anywhere I could. And,
Excuse me, we're certainly not interested in buying land, but we found a 5-acre lot down on New Durham, reasonably level. Walked it a few times, a little wet in the spring, but dry the rest of the time. But just to get that property ready, which would involve, let's say we took 1 acre out of the 5, cleared it, stumped it, get the rocks out, so you can dig down far enough, or fill it in so you don't have to dig down as far. Very high price, we're talking
Yeah.
easily 50 or 60,000 for an acre.
Right.
So,
Then
that's
there's
a lot of money.
maintenance.
Right.
There, and around here to find anything sandy is pretty difficult. What I'm saying, there's potentials there, you could run across something. I think maybe if we lobbied for it, maybe somebody might step forward and say, you know, I got a piece out here that's not bad or something. You know, I wish I had a piece, I would gladly
Yeah.
donate it to, but in Middleton, Brookfield, Wakefield,
Right.
pretty tough. Wakefield, you get up on the upper end, you can run into some sand and
Right.
stuff, but here it's just all rock, glacier rock.
A bit of history. How did the early settlers take care of this, of burying people? No?
Possibly,
They built the cemetery up.
Right.
Hey, stop.
You see an old cemetery, it's elevated. This stone wall and the thing could be, take 4 or 5 steps to get up to us, because they couldn't dig down 6 feet, so they put the dirt up and made it.
You would be amazed, I mean, I do a lot of deer hunting, have my whole life, and I'm extremely attracted to wells and cemeteries. If I see one through the woods, to hell with the deer, I just go look at the cemetery or the wells because of the rock work and stuff. You would be amazed at the work that they
Yeah.
put into some of those. It's,
By hand.
yeah, all by hand.
Yeah.
So hand cut granite, all
Yeah.
that stuff moved into place with bars. And a lot of them are high, which they have to be, because they can't be getting wet, you know,
Right.
so it's 10 times more work.
Sure.
when it's up on the top of an old
But a lot of them aren't any bigger than this room.
Right, right.
They were for families, not for a
That
whole
one
town.
down there by George Arnold's on the corner, there was some work went into that one.
Yeah,
Some work went into it when George fixed it all up too, but that's an old one.
yeah.
I mean, those stones, you can't even read them, most of them, they're 1700s.
I was thinking, what he was talking about, cemetery,
Right,
how many people we have in this town, and a lot of times somebody dies, they go to their family mausoleum or their family
Right,
lots. I have a child buried in Farmington.
yeah.
I mean, to add the extra cost and time, it's not really worth it.
You're right, a lot of people that move to Middleton already have a family plot in the town they grew up in. And you're right, you're gonna go back there to be buried.
And a lot of it's cremation too, like my entire family on, you know, branches down, everybody gets cremated. You know, they go up to the family property, spread the ashes there.
Right,
So I can,
I haven't buried
This is
anybody
my
in 20
deal.
years.
I gotta tell you, my deal. If Tammy gets here, 'cause she'll be upset.
So it's on recording?
We're going to be cremated. But my thing is, I like helicopters, and she's scared to death of heights. She gonna have to take me up and spring my axe.
My uncle, or
Fire.
my cousin
So-
did that, they jumped out of a plane to do my uncle's ashes
So-
because he was Green Beret.
I
When
think the
you-
trend is people are spending a lot less money on burials and,
Hey, stop it.
you know, and I mean, I'm all for it. It's really, you know, me personally,
right.
because it's a huge expense and, you know, but,
so, I'm pretty sure you gotta have a concrete whatever to put your foundation,
You
your.
could be right, I know in a regular
Casket.
cemetery.
Oh, in it.
Cause I always thought I could be buried in my yard, put me in my car and just fill it up with cement.
Sounds good to me.
You ready for a vote?
Unless there's other pertinent discussions here, yes. All right, all in favor? Aye, okay. Under old business,
So are we going to the cemetery committee to have them cancel the contract?
Yeah.
So we don't pay the bill?
Yeah.
Alright.
please. Update on the fire department. I will yield the floor to Jim Knapp, who has offered to keep track of the goings on.
I've got a few,
One more,
Do you want one?
if you look through this is
Oh, yeah, one thing.
Okay.
thank you.
preliminary sketches. I've got our guys from the GC it, Ken Anderson from town.
Well, how much
Done a lot of
money?
work.
How much money would we have to,
For Ken,
right,
0, it's volunteer.
get general contractor who has built houses around there, I know of 2 that he built by himself, you know, all the work, and
From
he's
the
offering
western
to
part
do it
of
to
the
the
state,
town.
he's got probably 100 under his belt. There's a city planner. I forgot where. The western side, I guess, over towards Ken. He's been around this stuff a long time. These were his preliminary sketches. I got him a half an hour ago, so we need a V2. We've got a couple of bids out already for septic design. I haven't heard back from him, but everybody's looked at it solid. If you guys are in construction, you know that's happening. Got one bid out for plumbing. What we're gonna do for plumbing is just rough plumbing. Get it in the concrete, head in the right direction. See where the money runs out. Biggest thing we took delivery of the ambulance today is over in the fire's house. It's $207,000. Let's put it where it belongs. And the ambulance is beautiful. And it smells new.
It does.
I saw
Yeah,
them,
the way it
I
is.
saw them with it, yesterday, right, they had it
Yeah.
yesterday, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
That's every little the details.
Yeah.
Well,
So this is all sort of moving along.
Bill, do we can hear you, please?
Hello.
Calling to L-chip, just to make sure there's no issues with the L-chip money for Old Town Hall. It's all one property, and the way it's worded in the contract is a little, it's worth phone call.
Junior.
I would reiterate 2 driving forces behind this. We have $65,000 in the capital reserve fund for a fire department addition. It is our intention to go as far as $65,000 will allow us. I'm hopeful that that's the walls, the roof, some insulation, maybe some electrical. Very possibly not much inside. We'll see how much money lasts, okay? Then in March of next year, we go before the town to ask for more money to do whatever else we want on the inside or outside. But now's the time to do this if we're concerned about the paving out there. A couple years ago, we voted to redo all the paving between the highway garage, the town hall, and the fire department. Well, it would be helpful to have the addition at least mapped out, okay? So that's one driving force, the money. The second, you're right, we have a new ambulance. $207,000 brand new ambulance. We have 4 pieces of equipment going into 3 doors. The 2 middle pieces, one of which is the new ambulance, goes in like this, okay? How you miss each other is beyond me, because you have to miss one vehicle, you have to come on an angle, then turn to get out the straight door, okay? Try doing that when you're in a hurry, because you've got a call that someone's having a heart attack and you're trying to get that rig out of there. So that's the impetus behind this.
You
Yes.
can put it in my garage.
Oh, there we go.
Right on 153,
Yeah, it is, it's nice and close.
16-foot ceilings,
Yeah.
no problem. 12 by 12 door.
So, Jim, where are we in terms of, trying to get this done before snow falls, right?
Yes, the
Okay.
issue is that everybody's busy, so we're trying to nail people down. I've got calls out to 2 other plumbers and no return phone calls. Because I'm a contractor too, it's busy.
Well, we can have the structure put up, and finish the inside.
Yes, all I'm looking for the plumber is the rough plumbing under the slab, in the right direction. We'll take up the septic system after design. Done.
Isn't, you're allowed to do your own plumbing?
I wouldn't hire a professional.
Or we can't find one? You got a few pipes to put in to
I've
run
got
out to the septic?
I've got one bid, it's a
Yeah.
little high, so it's high, it's a high type of season.
What are they putting actually in? Just a toilet and a sink?
No, just the rough plumbing, just the
Just
infrastructure.
a PVC pipe and the copper
PVC
pipe,
pipe
and that's
and-
it.
Just so
It's
they don't
nothing
have to
else.
drill.
Nobody uses
Work on
copper anymore,
myself.
but
Just the PVC
Yeah,
drain.
it's just so they don't have to
Schedule
drill the
bids.
floor after to put
They
the
know
bathroom.
about
yeah.
it. It doesn't work for the town.
One of these.
Well, if that's holding
structures-
us up, we can always add that later.
No, you gotta put it in the slab.
Volunteering
Yeah,
to
it would cost
undermine
more.
it.
Well,
It's just, it's not gonna hold us up. That's one of the things I wanna do. Before the concrete's poured.
right.
I'm
And
not into chipping concrete.
I think you have someone in mind to do the digging,
Yes,
another free,
there's another contractor that donated the site work. It hasn't been nailed down as to when. He's gonna do all the site work for free. There's people pulling in favors is what it is. Got a price on concrete, it changed a little bit of $5,500, that's pretty cheap for 6-inch slab with rebar. We've changed it a little bit, so price is gonna go up a little, we're putting a frost wall versus just a hunch. Because of the drainage issues we talked about. I was over there when it was one of the real heavy rain days, and there's rivers. There was drainage issues.
In Middleton, everywhere.
So by putting a frost wall and whatever they do with drainage before asphalt is at least not gonna go in the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, usually put the drains in when you put the footings in.
Yes, French drain, however they do it. The issue is there's not a lot of room between the new addition and the temporary job trailer they've got there.
Yeah, you just need a foot.
Well, you've got about 5, but
Yeah.
and
it's,
can you tell a little bit about what we've heard about where to put the septic?
there's two ideas for the septic system. He hasn't called me back with a design yet. There's an under asphalt leach field. It's 4 separate tanks. Pretty expensive. You have access in each one to get at it. Pretty expensive. Nobody really jumps at that. He's hoping there's enough room to go a pump system, go across the driveway. Between the tree and this big old Christmas
On
tree.
the lawn out there.
And the lawn, and the telephone pole. I've got a rock out there now, 75 feet from the well, it leaves about 25 or 30 to squeeze it in here, if it can be done.
It don't wanna be like a one-bedroom system. It's not gonna be a huge system.
Exactly.
Yeah, 2
All we're picking
bedrooms
up
is only 10 feet by 10 feet, it's not that big.
So, but that's being designed by Jeff Brownell and, again, everybody's buried. He's not even taking designs anymore. Hopefully I'll get on before he shut down.
Yeah.
But he hasn't returned my phone calls either, so, we'll see.
We considered trying to tie into the existing system for the town hall and rather quickly decided that was the wrong idea. Because that system for the town hall is nowhere near up to code. So before you add it on, you'd have to bring the whole system up to take care of 2 buildings. Right now, it doesn't even take care of 1, but it was grandfathered and we leave it alone, we'll be all right.
Yeah, we don't use it that often anyway.
We start messing with it, we're gonna be spending a lot of money.
Problem with the way the state looks at it, if there's 100 people one day a year, it's 100-person capacity. He went through the math with me, it's 5 gallons a day per person, blah, 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 blah. That went over his threshold for what he could design.
Yeah. Now what about a well?
We used the same well we got.
Do we have a well already?
No, we're not gonna put a well in. There's low pressure, it takes a booster pump, that's secondary.
Is there water there now?
Yes.
Yeah, there's one well,
One
you know where the
well,
lawn is, where the
Yeah.
trees are, there's a well there that feeds the highway garage, the town hall, and the fire department.
The only other thing we may have to do is upgrade some of that piping before the paving's done, but that, above this whole addition thing, it's just something we should do anyhow. So, we're gonna pave it, might as well do that part too.
We might,
Plastic
and
pipe.
that's pretty short money, it's a whole lot more expensive if we're gonna dig up new paving a year later.
So, it's about 5,500 for the footings, the knee wall and the slab?
That was just a slab. with the haunch. Well, first idea was just, you know, I talk about haunch. Just a monolithic pour it all at once. Till the drainage issue got up, and I actually saw the river go down there. And we decided to do a regular frost wall. Couple of feet, 18 inches, or 2 feet above grade. Start the new addition on top of that, the slab on the inside.
Yeah.
Just if the water runs down the wall, it's not gonna find its way in, it's be solid concrete. With whatever it costs more, even if it's $1,000.
And water will find its way if it wants
It's
to.
gonna win.
Yeah.
It's like everything possible to stop, it's gonna win.
And everything cracks.
All right, so
Unless there's questions, that's it, but like I say, everything's.
What's that total price so far?
What's that?
What's the total price so far?
We haven't spent a dime so far.
Oh, good.
Does he
That's
have
good.
an estimate for the
Well,
first
That's
part?
what I've got so far,
We're waiting for
is
the
septic
bids to
design is
come in.
$1,300, and then $300 for the state, whatever that
Right.
gets approved at. Almost $2,000 for rough plumbing. I thought it was a little high, but if that's the only one we can get, that's what we're gonna go with.
Right, you're not gonna get much cheaper as a
I
percentage.
don't wanna, and this was a local town guy, so I don't wanna
Right.
lose that contact for $500.
Right, exactly.
I'd be a little upset to lose a job for $500, then you call me the next time it breaks down at midnight. So,
Right.
and Middleton Building is interested in helping us.
I'd like to talk to somebody down there, if we set up that we buy everything, they were really good on our initial quotes for trusses. I got $3,000 versus rocks. So like I told the GC today, why don't we give it all to Middleton and see if they'll cut us a bit of a break. Through the town, that way we pay the bill to Middleton Lumber through the selectman's office
Try to do that.
and try to keep everything local. I think that's
Right.
good work. Even if we can pay a little more, that's okay.
Yeah, well, it's money back in the residents' pocket, so.
Basically.
Well, they do 15-20% easily.
That's what I'm hoping. I heard the number 5.
I get
think
15%, my kid gets 25%.
We're gonna get out and talk to him.
I always use them.
Yeah. So I think,
That's my philosophy, I don't really care how much it costs, it's local, so, I mean, not that I don't care. But it's like for what I'm gonna save versus,
By the time you drive into town and get what you want like that, and
right.
Jim, am I correct in saying that the plan is to keep talking about this at each selectmen's meeting
Yes.
as information comes up?
Yeah.
One of the faults about why the new highway garage did not pass is that we didn't have pictures of it. Didn't have bids, so we've already got some pictures of this, we're trying to do it the right way.
What, the highway department, we're still thinking about that?
No, no,
Oh,
no. But one of the complaints was when we talked about it at the March meeting, that we didn't have any plans to show anybody. They're right, we didn't. And it did not matter because it was voted down anyway.
Yeah,
But I'd like to get this through by doing it, a better job of it.
well, we already have the money for this already set, so it's not gonna cost the taxpayers anything, and we're gonna get
Right.
what we want.
Yeah, but I feel an obligation to keep everybody informed. So we'll
I
do
mean, we
it.
spent a lot of money on that site work. and
Yes, we have.
I was like, are you kidding me? But anyways,
Alright. Any other old business?
the audit came in. The annual audit we do every year by law.
Right?
That came in, it's all completed, we get the final rundown from them. Years past, it always had at the very end of it, a paragraph or 2 or 3 or 4 of things that the town needs to do to get back into compliance with the state laws, because we were not in compliance. So, I have to say, in the last 3 years, this is the 3rd year in a row, we've had absolutely nothing that we have to update. It's all been done the correct way to their audit. But used to take them a week and a half to 2 weeks to do, take them 2.5 days. We used to, I think if I remember right, we used to schedule about $25,000 or more for the audit, but down to $15,000 a year to do the audit. So, just by doing things the right way, so. And that's pretty much due to Laura, the bookkeeper, she stays in constant touch with Vashon and Bouquet and the state, the DRA, so when things happen, they fix them right now instead of waiting till the end of the year and, now it's a big mess, so, makes a big difference. so, all right.
No. Thank you, Laura. All right, anything else for old business? New business, non-public requirements and meeting time. Okay, what's up?
Yeah.
You,
So-
Joe?
No, basically, we sit here and we do our meetings and stuff like that. If we have a non-public and stuff like that, we always end up 8, 9 o'clock, whatever. I'd like to see us go ahead and move the non-public to the beginning of the meetings. So we come in at probably 6, whatever, or 6:30 to 7, have non-publics, and move into our meeting at 7 and do town's business at that point. So I think, no matter how you do it, it will work out to be the same time frame. I just think if instead of people sitting here all waiting and waiting and waiting, if we do it ahead of time, it might be a little bit easier for people.
I would want the regular meeting to start at 6:30 as it has, so.
Okay?
Start the non-public at 6 o'clock,
Okay,
and it would have to be requested to have a non-public before the actual meeting.
right. It should come in ahead of time, like, and be put on as part of the agenda, so.
Right.
At the bottom, when we have, usually Laura will put down a non-public, whatever, we can have at the beginning. So
Okay.
that way people know the agenda, we'll have it that way.
Just a quick question, Joe. So, but the non-public, those are only for specific things.
Personnel, legal, and I forget the other one. So. Okay, dismissal, promotions, compensation, public employees, disciplining, investigate, anything like that that has to do with personnel.
Right.
Hiring of any person as a public employee. Management is this, but the affect adversely the reputation of people, the member of the board. Consideration of the acquisition, sale, or lease of real or personal property, if discussed in public. Negotiating of pending claims and litigation that has been threatened or ready in file, that's usually with the lawyers, legal stuff. And consideration of matters relating to the preparation and for carrying out of emergency functions, including training to carry out such functions. So, that's basically the only reason why you can have one. Now, that encompasses a lot of things in there as well, so.
Go ahead.
Would you make a stipulation then for the non-public involved persons to understand that if they couldn't conclude their business by 6:30, that it would be continued to the following meeting, and the regular public meeting would start at
Although, having
6:30?
gone through a lot of these, I can't ever remember one lasting half an hour. It's pretty short. Yeah.
And again, I mean, not that we're not perfect doing this as ourselves, but we've had non-public meetings that, looking back at, well, that should have been in public, so
We just went to classes.
they still, so.
Right,
and-
about this,
so-
very same topic.
So basically, I mean, people coming in looking for tax relief or deeding purposes like that, we used to go into non-public, not to embarrass people. It's all public business. And that's how we're handling going forward, all public business.
And that would allow you to just tell them, okay, wait half an hour, you can discuss it at the next meeting and
That's
not
right.
have to wait another
Right.
week.
But what we wanna do is, if someone knows ahead of time that we need to have a non-public, okay? It has to be brought to Laura's attention ahead of time, so we can put it on the agenda, so there's non-public. So if we come into our meeting at 6:30, there may not have been any, but like right now, there's nothing on it for tonight, so.
All
I
right,
think it makes more sense to do it that way.
anything else from three of us? Laura, anything else? Anything from the general public?
It might help.
Questions?
Regarding this,
Anything? I think we're
I have
done this
something.
far well. I'm not well.
I know you're not well.
Thank you.
What is happening with the business that's supposedly not located up behind my house?
My first response would be the planning board, but you're a representative of the planning board.
The only thing I can tell you was, almost a year ago, it was left that they need to start working on becoming a legitimate business, and the paper was sent to them. And at that point, nothing has been returned, we've had absolutely no activity. So, I don't know what, we'd have to check with legal to see what our next recourse is. I think a cease and desist would probably be the next thing in line.
And I thought that was happening because I had asked about a couple months ago about this, and I thought there was going to be some contact with legal to send out a letter.
And it has not at this point occurred, no.
But it should come from the planning board, right? As opposed to us. Okay.
And so as a follow-up question, as well as that, is I know that there was effort made to clean up the property. So I guess the question is, how does that go forward as far as being that it's being maintained, being cleaned up? Meaning, there was, all the tires on there, now all they are is in a tractor trailer that's not fit for the road, that's where they've been put in, so they're not
They've
leaving
been putting what?
the tires,
Inside of it?
yes. There's a whole tractor trailer,
That's where all the tires are.
yes, they've been put in there in
It's even
a
worse
trailer that came from Index Packaging that's no longer fit for the
that they
road.
gave away, and they don't give anything away.
Well, I
I'm
guess,
asking
again,
a
for
question.
not knowing that, whatever, I didn't realize that then we probably have to do another
Sounds like
another walkthrough and say, hey, what's inside of here, we need to say, and see what happens.
Just asking, thanks.
I mean, I'm not down there, we didn't know what's going on, so.
Well,
If his trailer's registered, you really can't do anything about it.
it's not registered.
Yeah, you can register it, doesn't have to
Well,
be
I'm pretty
inspected.
sure if you put 500-600 tires in one down your house and somebody knew about it, Lenny, you could put a plate on it, but good luck just parking it out there in the woods. I'm just saying.
Joanne?
Back to the issue that you were discussing about changing the time of the meetings. I think that would go a long ways to helping out the selectmen with maintaining some kind of a normal evening to get home at a reasonable hour.
Good. Thank you.
Do we not have time for questions tonight? I can come
Yeah.
back next week, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you going to vote on that, or is that a done deal?
I don't think it's a vote, it's just a matter of how we're gonna operate, let people know that we're gonna start doing it that way.
Alright, so there's a question, someone else,
I have a question.
fire away.
Last time I was here, was between work and everything, I didn't get back there. We were talking about the road postings.
Yes,
Did you find, now as far as I know, so you can tell me if I'm wrong, okay? The road posting is through the town, right?
yeah, selectmen. The selectmen are the ones that post the roads, yes.
Yeah, the town.
Right.
Selectmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're the town. Anyways, I went through the state, and they says that it's nothing to do with the state at all. It's you people, the towns. So, I've been driving my tractor trailer 30 some odd years back and forth to my house up in Pheasant Drive. Never ripped up the road. When I first moved here, the old road agent made me put 2 driveways in. Because he didn't want me backing in off the street. My tandems turn, and that could rip up the road. So I did that for the town. So, the police gets, Rick Washburn says something to the police department. Police department goes out, waits for us on the side of the road, 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever time we're going to work. And they pull us over and tell us not to do it. We know that. But, as far as I know, the town has to give us the ticket. If he gives us a ticket, now tell me if I'm right or wrong, if you give us a ticket for being on the road,
Well, I'm a fire guy.
right,
Unless it's on fire.
right, I was just looking, I was just looking that way. It's not a state ticket. It doesn't go against your driver's license, it doesn't go against your company, it doesn't go against anything. It's a town ordinance. So, I explained to you before about the weights and measures. I don't know if you remember. But the width of my tires, the how many tires, the length of my vehicle, I am lighter than a pickup truck going home empty. Loaded? No, it's out the window. But I never come home loaded. But Rick, every year, One year I had to come in front of the selectmen, and I told him, I says, Rick posted my road for 6 ton. Rick said, no. I said, it used to be an 8 ton, now you dropped it to a 6. Why? Well, I can do that. I said, no, you can't. The RSA says any paved road in the state is an 8-ton road. Any dirt road is a 6-ton road. And his comment to me, this should be in the records, that I'm gonna change that. But he never did. He put me back to an 8-ton road. I can disconnect from my trailer and drop it, and then drive home. I'm under 8-ton, bobtailing. But, what?
Your truck weighs less than 16,000 with no trailer on it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Really?
My truck and trailer is only 29. Lighter than your tri-axle.
Right. Well, yeah, by about 300, yeah.
Yeah, anyways, what I'm trying to say is, there's no reason why Rick Washburn should be chasing all our truck drivers. There's only like 5 of us in town. And we all come home empty. We leave first thing in the morning, and we come home at night. We always drive in the middle of the road. By the weights and measures, we are lighter than a pickup truck. We got trash trucks, we got town trucks, they're all running the roads. We're just wanting to come in and out once, every day. You can park somewhere else, it puts another hour on us to go to work. Time to leave the house, get to the truck, start it up, get it going, do your inspection. If you have it home, you do everything right there, you go and have your coffee, you come out, you go, right off to work. It's an hour a day. Well, it adds up over the course. Like I said, I own a place on 153, it doesn't bother me. But the other truck drivers in town, I get 2 or 3 of them that park at my place, and because they can't go home. So I'm here because I don't think there's a good reason why we can't go home when we have documentation showing that we're lighter than a regular pickup truck because of the length. I have what you call a tag axle that lifts up. So if I put that down, I'm even lighter than a pickup truck because of all my tires on the ground and the length and the width of the tires.
Good.
If he's got documentation and has submitted that to the town, I think it should be
I don't,
seriously
the state
considered.
has it. Any state, you call any state DOT,
But
not even the.
you need to provide that to the town so they can see it.
We've already been over this, they don't recognize it.
They don't recognize it.
Right.
When you go down 109 in Wakefield, there's a sign, big
That's
sign.
not what I'm here for, but my truck, I know, is, there's a lot to it, the width of the tires, the spread of the axles, all that stuff. But he's right, the reason that we have to go through all that is mostly federal bridge standards. And those trucks, like, the best way you can explain it, I guess, is like a snowshoe. If you're on 2 feet of snow, you put snowshoes on, you can walk across the top of the snow. If you go out with your boots on, you're going in right up to your waist. It's basically that. The front tires I run, and I run the big tires on the tag axle and the front axle because Maine will actually write tickets axle to axle. New Hampshire could do that, but they don't. New Hampshire gives you 5% over your maximum with overweights and everything, so a tri-axle dump truck can weigh 76.6. After that, you're getting a ticket. If you're grossly over, they'll take the overweights away from you, write the ticket all the way from what like a 10-wheeler is rated to weigh. So in other words, you're gonna pay the fine, all that. The
We're talking about, Jimmy, we're talking about
fines
empty.
in Maine are a lot more money, so I run the bigger tires on them. But those tires, those float tires on the front of mine cost 3 times the amount the tire on like what you have on the trucks over there. I could run them, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna weigh right. So that's what he's talking about, is you just spreading out the footprint, spreading out all the weight, and he's right, empty, we're not putting that, I tried to, we've been over this before, of course I was hot-headed and fighting and yelling, but that's, what I was trying to explain about, like going across New Bern. Personally, I could care less, I don't go across there anymore, but we ain't putting much weight down, empty. Loaded, different story.
Joanne?
Have the selectmen ever reviewed any of the documentation about that?
I personally have not, but I do have some knowledge of, when you say each individual tire, that you have like either,
I have 20 tires on the ground,
okay, but on the back there's like 3 in a row usually?
4.
Okay. There's a principle called the combined weight distribution.
Yeah.
Good way to explain it is, 3 kids want to go walking out on the ice. 1 kid goes out and the ice holds them. All 3 kids go out, they don't go together, they spread out. Okay? Because of the weight distribution, even though you're a foot is here, the weight is distributed. If you put 3 kids together, they'll go through the ice. Another example is scaffolding. If you put a scaffold between 2 ladders, and you have 2 people working on the scaffold, they usually do not stand next to each other unless it's a very strong scaffold, for the same reason. Now, on big roads, I agree. The roads are strong enough to be able to hold all the tires together, unless we want to spend even more money building these roads to the state standards. And
That's not what we're talking about. Per footprint, per tire sitting on the ground. It doesn't matter if they're an inch apart, they're 8 feet apart. You get tandems on one side, tandems on the other, they're 8 feet apart from the road. A school bus is heavier than I am, with the kids on it. What I'm talking about, I don't want to rip the roads up. I haven't. For 30 years I've been coming home. All of the other road agents, they had no problems with me, and like I said, I put another driveway in, cost me money to do it, but I did it. Fine. Then Rick Washburn comes along, and then all of a sudden he hates trucks. He gives Jimmy a hard time, he gives me a hard time. He calls the police chief all the time. Why is he going home? Because that's another thing. They can't stop me from going home. That's my civil right to go home. It doesn't matter what I go in, I can go home. But we're not gonna get into that. That's more. I don't wanna get into all this. All I'm saying is there's gotta be some kind of waiver or something for the town people to go home, not to drive business, not to run in and out all day loaded, empty, or whatever. But there's gotta be something that you guys can look into, because our footprint is proof is in the pudding. For 30 years I've been running that road. And the road's never been ripped up by me, or anybody else, trash trucks, so.
Joanne?
You're saying the same things over and over again, so I'm asking, if you take a look at this documentation and if his case is valid, I think that's when you really have to be making a decision. If you haven't seen the paperwork, then I can see where you're going to go with whatever Rick says.
I can get you that. That's easy. I can go to my state shed and they got a big.
And at that point, you review the paperwork. If you review the paperwork and determine that you still don't want to follow those rules, but to try and make an arbitrary decision without looking at the documentation.
I agree with you. We've been through this several times.
My suggestion is if the state documentation proves his assertion that he is underweight for the requirement for axle or.
Well, not
I
gross.
don't want to get.
There's different.
We're not talking that, okay?
Well, the sign is gross weight. That's what it is. That's where the problem lies.
We're not talking about that. We're talking
No,
about.
that's exactly what we're talking about.
Middleton does gross registered weight because we cannot afford a scale, nor do we want to hold people up waiting how many hours
Well,
on the
I can
side of the
argue
road.
that too.
But
'cause you
anyways,
can't
that's
write
why-
me a ticket that
so
the truck ain't weighed. You
this-
cannot
the state, there's a letter from the state saying that the towns can, all the towns can.
I'd like to see that letter.
Okay, I thought I dropped it off to you last time.
I
I
don't think
did.
so, but,
I thought we read it.
We did, but I dropped a
Keep
copy
watching.
of it.
but this is gonna segue to my thing, might as well do that right now. The permit to go on the road, which, it's $20, I guess, correct?
Yes.
Who issues that?
Through Rick.
Rick and only Rick?
He's the one that,
Rick or Ed will do it.
yeah.
Because I believe per the RSA, you have to have a list of whoever can issue it. Well, I came to get it, you know, I don't know where to get it, this is just what we had talked about here.
Right.
And he said, I need to have a time frame of when I'm gonna, you know, I explained to Ed that I don't have a time frame because I'm gonna get it in Wells, this particular load, when I'm there to save the guy, you know, $100 it'd be $100 more if I had to drive over and get it versus, you know, I work in Wells periodically throughout the year. Now, going forward, being reasonable, I really don't understand what difference it makes if I pay the $20 fee when I get the dirt. That's kind of baffling to me why that makes a difference.
Is the permit a yearly thing, weekly thing,
It's
monthly
a
thing?
one-time deal, that's why you pay the $20, and it's for one time.
One load?
Well, okay, so
Yeah.
that's, I guess,
Well, what
so
if
is
you were
it
hauling
one,
multiple loads in there over the course of the day? Is it $20 a load?
It's still $20, but then he'll know that you're gonna be going over for like, say you're gonna go 3 days, you're gonna travel that road, he's gonna write on there for these 3 days.
So you
you
could
don't
haul
get,
100 loads in there.
I believe so,
You
yeah, as
could
long
have
as it's a
multiple
day thing.
trucks hauling in and,
Just one truck.
One truck, no, it could be multiple trucks.
Right, no, it's one truck, but you can say I'm gonna be in there for these 3 days, and he's gonna write on there the 3 days.
because I would think logistically, that would probably something you'd want somebody to bond the road for, but I guess that's up to you guys. But this particular situation, I don't, you know what, you don't trust me, you think I'm gonna buy a permit and, not, or dump a load of dirt and just keep the permit and use it again, or what's I don't know what's,
He did write you the permit for 2 weeks. I have it.
I don't want one for 2 weeks, that's why
I
I'm
do have
here.
it. You did
I
do
don't
it.
know when I'm gonna be able to go there and get it. You know, this is time to me, I should probably, no, let's think about it this way, okay? It's $20 to use the road, which I really don't see where that's, what are you gonna save the $20 up for 300 years and maybe be able to fix a pothole? Because hot top's like $80 a ton. I don't know where that $20 figures into it, but I know this guy, when he called me and asked me about the load, how much it was gonna be, ledge packs, $300 just for the dirt. You know, I told him, cause he's a friend of mine, if I can grab it while I'm there, you know, I'll bring it home for $100. It would be, like I said, $175 if I had to get in the truck and drive over there and get it. Long story short, he said, so it's like $400. I said, yeah, you know, or thereabouts. He goes, well, it'll take me a month or so to save up the money to get it, and then, and obviously pays taxes, and the poor guy saves up for a month to buy a load of dirt, pays an extra 20 on top of it. I should charge him an extra 50 because I had to come up here twice, and, you know, because my time's worth something, you know, I mean, but whatever, you wanna charge $20 to people on the road, I ain't the one paying it, but, I don't understand why there needs to be any time thing. If I come up and give you the $20 and get the permit, I'll get the load of dirt whenever, you want me to call Rick and say, Yeah, I dumped it, I delivered that load, so you know I don't try to scam you out of 20 bucks. I need another permit, I'll come see you. I think that's reasonable, I don't,
They gave you a 2-week permit, why can't they extend it? He can write whatever he wants,
so
right?
I'm gonna come up here 6 times and get 6 different permits?
No, I mean, get one permit and just say 6 months. If you're gonna give him 2 weeks, why don't you give him 6 months, give him the course of the season?
I just, like I said, I don't see where I'm being unreasonable. You know,
And I don't think it's you personally, to be honest, because I've been watching these permits. There was one septic company that came in, yep, going right here, it was an emergency pump, whatever. They went on 4 other locations and pumped for themselves on this guy's permit. And
that's
we're
not,
caught.
but
So no, I'm not saying
You
it's
take-
you, I'm just saying.
You take that up coupled with, in the past, we've had another one of our taxpayers who blatantly told us in a meeting that they don't care what the roads are posted at, they're gonna wanna do whatever they want. This is Mr. Terrio down there. So we asked him, do not go down Ridge Road, come up this way. We made the accommodation. No, you go down there and almost every morning, those trucks are going right down across Ridge Road because it's easier to do, you know? And you want us to sit there and make accommodations for everybody. Ridge Road is not good enough for all that traffic. It's not made for it. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why, because I do trust our road agent. When he tells me that that road was built with big rocks in it, stumps turned upside down, and just put stuff in there to make a road over it and put some asphalt on it, it's not made for it. Just like that little piece over there on New Durham, it's not made to have the truck weight. Maybe at some point, the town will have the money to fix that road the proper way, so it can take it.
I,
I don't think we wanna spend $1 million in 6/10 of a
I'm
mile
not
of road
arguing
anyhow.
that, Joe, at all.
Look, the whole idea is, this, like Lenny said, you got 5 or 6 truck drivers and this, like, that's what you do for a living. This is not a new thing that's ever happened in New England, that all of a sudden, things are being posted, and it's only for a month and a half out of the year, okay?
Do you
Let's
know
not
this is
let
the
me-
only town I have ever even heard of that this was gonna be my second point, okay? Normally, I get a ticket from Pike, take this to wherever, do a delivery. You get there, the road's posted, 10 ton. It's a local delivery. You just go deliver it. I have never heard of paying a permitted fee
To get the
use
permit
town.
part of it.
But, listen, this is my point. You know what? I'm not a dishonest person, okay? You know, if I'm going across New Durham Road because I feel like it and I get caught, what did I tell you? Oh yeah, I was going across it. I knew it was posted, whatever. You know, John Mullen eloquently explained to me that I'm not above the law, laws are made for a reason, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't really care. Of course, when you said, I don't really like listening to that tailgate rattling over there, that's the reason I haven't been back across there. Like I said, like Lenny just said, 4 o'clock in the morning, trust me, you ain't gonna pay the cops overtime that much to be out there or whatever. I know that, but I don't go that way, I go the other way, from here on out. What I'm saying to you is, if somebody else is an asshole, okay, that's not me. And I think, and again, I generally think I'm right, or I wouldn't even say it, but there are ways that you could have posted that road and held them guys accountable 100%. You could have put a $200 fine on it if you posted it the right way. I believe if you said to the cops that if they're doing this on this road, they would nail them. They're not people just delivering goods to people in town, and it'd be that simple. But nobody wants to hear that side of it or whatever. I'm just saying to you, my only thing is, if I pay the 20 bucks for the permit, I really don't see what's the harm of when I get the dirt there, I get it there.
Okay, so I wanna finish my statement,
Sure.
okay? So as Mr. Langston has said, there's 5 or 6 of you guys in town who do it for a living,
Yep.
okay? Paul Barron, he waits until the restrictions are done, he doesn't do nothing because he knows that's what the law is, okay? I've been here 16 years, I know I'm not from here, 16 years.
Yep.
In 16 years, we've paid over $4 million to keep these roads in the condition they're in, and that's still not great. $4 million, okay? For 5 people who just wanna say, just for a month and a half, it's inconvenient for me to not do this.
No, no,
I'm not
no,
talking,
no.
He's
I'm
not
not,
saying
I'm
that.
not saying the
I'm-
month and a half,
I'm
are you
talking about
crazy? I've never drove on them goddamn roads, never. I've never driven on any road when they're posted. That does wreck roads, everybody knows that. If you're doing that, you are an asshole. You ain't gonna hear me argue that. And those guys, if you don't wanna go after them and hold them accountable, that ain't my deal. I'm
not saying
talking
it's your
about,
deal. I'm just telling you that overall, the taxpayers, not just the 5, 6 people who have trucks, but everybody in this room, in this town, is paying to have these $4 million of roads kept in some kind of decent shape,
right,
okay?
But his
Including
thing has nothing
myself.
to do with what I'm talking about. I'm talking about coming home empty. He's talking about being loaded. It's totally different standard here.
I'm telling you that if you order a TV off a friggin' Amazon, a big screen TV, it's coming in a tractor trailer, they don't know that you gotta get a permit, or that's the other part of it. You wanna do that, that road needs to be posted the right way.
And I would have no problem no through trucking.
And if you have a delivery at a place that's posted, you're allowed to deliver it. I've gone down through Boston and it says no through trucks, no through trucks. I gotta make a delivery.
Well, that's not through trucking.
Right.
That's not
Oh.
through trucking.
Posted.
Like I said, that was always my thing. There are ways to post these roads that people that are abusing it and not doing, circumventing all the bullshit, you could nail them. You could nail them. And I don't know how the fine system works for that. I don't know if the town can say, we're gonna pass an ordinance that you're through trucking on a road, that's ours, that's posted, that we went to the trouble, the expense, and it's a $500 fine. Because I think that's how you post it. No through trucking, $250 fine, or whatever. And, I'm just saying, for me personally, like I said, I would think, and I don't know what Rick and those guys talk about over there. I'm assuming that they would say, okay, say Mark Marston was gonna scrape 10,000 yards of loam off that field down there and sell it or trade it or whatever, he would probably have to bond the road. If somebody was gonna put in, like when Chuck did that, you would have thought he'd have bonded the road. It's not that expensive, and it don't just cover the town, it covers the guy that's doing the work, because it's basically an insurance policy.
Bonding
makes-
is very hard to prove. After it's bonded, very difficult to prove whose truck did the damage.
Right, I mean, it'd be very difficult to prove that I'm the one that actually, I know that, everybody knows that. I also know people that have been sued for $6,000 because they cracked some hot top, delivered a load that the guy wanted. You know what I mean? That's stuff we deal with, that's why get all upset about road postings and everything, because we do it every day. I'm just saying to you what's reasonable. And I agree, okay, that especially now, after this winter and looking at that road, especially down on that end by George's and the shop corner and all that Rick should want to know who's on the road and, and be looking at it. I'm thinking we're probably gonna do some work on it here pretty quick, but,
This year.
but I'm just saying, you want me to get a permit, fine. But I would like to be able to say, I'll let you know when I deliver the load of dirt, that's the best I can do. To try to save him money.
So what would be the problem? You're over in Maine, you get your load, you drive home, you park it in your yard. Instead of taking that night, would it be, to dump a load, now let me finish,
Right.
Jim. To dump a load takes you what, 5 minutes, maybe, okay? So, you come home, you park it, hey Rick, I'm gonna come and get my permit. The $20, whatever it is, I don't care if you didn't pay nothing, but you come get the permit, you're down, dump it, it's a done deal. Why is that so difficult, that I have to have a 6-month permit to make one load? It don't make sense either.
I can't do it is because I'm probably leaving at 4:30 in the morning the next morning. You know what I'm saying? For me to make it work, I grab it. Some days paving, it starts raining at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the only way I can even do it. That's what I'm saying is, even if I knew I was going to Wells to go paving. I have no, like tonight, I didn't get done till 6 o'clock, well, 5:30 in Rochester, and like 6 up here to argue about this. I never know. I'm not saying that to be ignorant, that's just how it is. But the next time I'm over there, like I said, we could be paving, it start raining, that's when you can get it. Or I might be on a job that I get done at 3:30, I can get in there and get loaded. So if that's reasonable to you, why is it not reasonable for me to just deliver a load of dirt and have Roxanne pay you the $20 when she comes up to the meeting? I mean,
Because if you get pulled over in the meantime, don't have the permit, that's the problem for
well,
you.
I think everybody's reasonable enough to say that, you know, if I tell the officer that pulls me over, look, I've already been through this with the selectmen, they know I'm gonna pay for the permit, you know, and you can void the ticket if you want, or whatever, I don't know. I think it's easier, if I'm gonna go haul something for somebody, I just get the permit, and then I, like I said right now, might be 2 months before I get it, but
It sounds like, Jimmy, that he wants you to, basically, if you have an idea you're getting out at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, call Rick. Rick says,
that's
yeah,
good, except I
have him
only
take a
work 4
picture.
days a week, Lenny.
Have him take a picture.
And
of-
Ryan-In's been up here on Sunday morning writing permits, so.
Oh, if you wanna give me cell
There's
phone
somebody on
numbers,
call
and
24 hours a day for that highway garage.
it, like I said,
Oh,
if, that's fine. If somebody's gonna give it to me, when I want, you know, that's good, he can meet me down there when I dump it or whatever.
You can take a snapshot.
Whatever works for you, I
Send it
guess,
out.
I'm just saying it's unreasonable to me to not be able to just deliver a guy a load of dirt when I get a chance.
This is only for the month and a half or 2 months the road is posted.
Yeah.
No,
This is
I'm
your
not going on that
Yeah.
road when the road is posted.
No.
No, they're talking about the road
This
right
one, the
over
road
here.
is not
It's all year
posted, the
round.
road's posted 10 tons all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The Ridge Road is,
It's
really
the
bad
10
shape.
ton, yeah.
Okay, you said, how many millions of dollars we spend on pavement? The last time at a meeting, you said like 200,000 a year we pay on.
well, you go $200,000 a year
Oh,
for
yeah.
16 years. In some years, it's 250, we've had
Yeah, but
300.
pavement doesn't go that far anyways, and that's not talking about, like you said, digging it up and whatever. But we have all the equipment and stuff, it's only just
I
gonna
know, but
cost us
that's,
the
my
material.
whole point is there's been a significant investment in the
But Joe-
infrastructure here.
But
With
so,
all due respect, you're looking at it the wrong way, okay? In my humble opinion. Um, Yes, I agree with your point, okay? You've spent all this money, and so have I, and so have all of us, okay? But it doesn't change the fact that people need things. And, you know, that's what I do, is deliver dirt. They also need their kids to go to school and their garbage picked up, and trust me, that's what's wrecking that road more than anything, are those two types of trucks right there. Skinny tires on the edge of the road all the time, that's just, I've never figured out why, the towns don't hold the garbage trucks accountable and make them put big tires on them and spread them out so they do less damage, but that's
You're
another,
supposed to
that's
come
another
late.
war. But what I'm saying to you is, you can spend all the money on them roads you want, you know, you're still gonna have to have guys like me on them to provide the service that the people in the town want, whether it's a TV or a load of dirt or propane or oil or whatever. So the only thing we can do is try to do it the best we can. You know, I'm all for that, even though I make my living fixing roads, you know.
Alright, so, yeah, so from somebody who doesn't have to deal with this all the time, my question would be, for the permit to be written, let's say he called up 2 o'clock, he's up in Wells. He calls at 2 o'clock, says, I want a permit for this thing. Would he have to have an original permit on him? Or could it be, say, an email, like the burn permits? You go
Should be.
online, you print it out, you've got it.
You know, so I wouldn't be opposed, look, we have a physical permit, they're not numerical, whatever, they're just a blank permit, whatever, I don't think they're numerical. But as a combination, if they could send an email, if, whatever, to his phone, so if he got stopped, hey, I got this, got the date on it, I would be opposed to that.
That's what I'm saying, I think that
You know,
sounds like a
that would
fairly
be- that could
reasonable, most people have smartphones to stay,
I
or
could see
even,
I really don't care
Or
about
you-
$20.
I'm gonna say, I mean, knowing this, Jim maybe delivers 5 loads of dirt.
Yeah,
Now, he does not do that.
I don't even wanna haul any dirt on that
So,
road,
I'm just
believe me, if
saying,
I
it's
didn't
not
know the
like-
guy, I wouldn't even be doing it, I told you that. I'm done hauling on that
Right.
road.
No, he's
it's-
not hauling outside of Pike, for the most part.
Yeah, I'm too old to work.
But unfortunately, I mean, you're sitting here as you, as an individual, we have to look at, we make an accommodation for you, and everybody else is gonna come in here looking for the same
I don't think
accommodation.
it's wrong to make that
Well,
accommodation, though.
it depends on what it is too.
One
mean,
load.
You,
And just, he
if
doesn't
you
know
want
when
it
it's going to
permitted,
be. That's.
see,
But
to
not
me,
doing, listen, the $20 is not to, it's just to make it a little bit more inconvenient that people are not gonna wanna do it if they don't have to do it.
But then most of them charge the
So-
customer, so it's not out of their
And a
pocket
lot, but yeah, a
anyways.
lot of people pass that thing, oh, $20 now for the permit, you know, pay, customer pays for that. I do
well,
the
then,
same, my
why
everybody
couldn't
you
you?
pay for it.
I would think if we sat down and came up with some creative ways to post that road, that you couldn't get around it. To me, if there was a sign there that said, must be approved by a town official, you know, any, I don't know how you'd word it, any delivery, any access, whatever, must be, period, with a phone number. And you could even have it on an answering machine. But if that truck was on that road and it's not, it hasn't notified a town official and been approved, I would think it'd be pretty easy to write them out. I don't know, cause see, that's exactly what I was thinking. I said, I'm sure they don't care about the $20, it doesn't make any sense. It's,
No, I mean, honestly, I mean,
Basically, it's paying for the cost of making the form.
well, the only
Yes,
thing I'd
that
say to
happened
that is
years
when a
ago.
guy's already paying $300 to get his septic pump, you gotta add another $20 to it.
Laura,
That's just me.
are you saying that it might be possible for the highway department to issue a permit via the phone?
Electronically
Like
somehow.
an email to his phone, they
They
should
would
pull
bring
it
it
up
to
and-
me and they would ask me to do it.
Well, let me ask you
we do a
this.
training, Laura.
If they entered it into their computer, don't they email, they must, you must be able to email the police, like group email or whatever. If every time they issued approved a request to use that road, they couldn't email it right to the cops? Then if you got pulled over, you know, so basically if I called, whether it's them, you, whatever, and said, hey, tonight I gotta deliver a load on, 14 Ridge Road, you say, okay, the cops got it right there. If I get pulled over, I go, wait a minute, I talked to Laura or I talked to Ed, and it should be in the computer.
Yeah, they check it anyway.
No, it depends, your part-timers aren't, they're not emailing. 'cause they're
No,
not
no,
here
no,
for
I
it.
mean, it's
Your
a small
full-timers,
town.
yeah, that'd
if-
be
But the
easy.
documentation's there, even if he did try to give me a ticket.
Right, you would have the documentation to show the date. and
Right, I
everything.
might have to come up here and get documentation or whatever. That's all I'm looking for, is just to try to make it convenient for me and somebody if they wanted to load up.
And they could pay via credit card, it's just, like, I talked to the town clerk today, she said you have to pay the convenience charge, the 3.5% they would charge or whatever.
It's not about the $20, it's
No,
about.
but I'm saying,
It's
you just
more-
mentioned that, how would they pay
Who's
for
gonna
it?
be on the road?
I think if you, if,
I mean,
Well, that's why.
the biggest thing, I can tell you, every spring, up until this last year, when we started doing this, the septic people,
Yeah, well, right.
just assume, as they can get those trucks, because they've been dormant for 6 months, doing nothing.
Right.
Those trucks,
Wait.
they're just chomping at the bit. So, what they have to do first, they have to call code enforcement. John Mamone will go down there and say, yes, it has to be done, it's overfilled.
Right.
But you know something, at that point, they've already contaminated the leach bed, they got a whole lot more bigger problem with getting that tank bumped.
I
Okay?
mean,
So having said that, and it's just like Laura said, we gave one guy the permit to go into one spot that had to be done. What's he do? Oh, I got the order right here, I'm gonna make a load out of it.
yeah, see,
You know, so then you wonder why we get upset with stuff. And it's not so much always the local guys, but you can't just specify and pick and choose. You gotta have to group everybody
a guy
together.
like that's how
It
it
works.
is. It's hard to, it just is. You know, because the no-through trucking thing ain't gonna take care of that.
No.
It ain't, you know, but nothing is, really.
No.
And just like nothing, you know, I can't do anything about some guy tells you, screw you, I'm gonna do what I want anyway. You know what I mean, when I
So,
can't.
one thing you
But I
guys
shouldn't
should-
have to pay for
I got
that.
something totally different.
Hold on,
We're done. We're
Roxanne.
done. So just as an FYI, last week, my garbage didn't get picked up.
Really?
Yeah, 'cause Tuesday to Wed, Friday.
No, last week was supposed to be Tuesday and
Right,
Friday.
last week it got picked up, it was the week before, it didn't get picked up, I'm like, and I know it was out there, Jim puts it up there before, and I know it was out there because when I was going to leave, it had tipped over, so I had to pick it up because there was one bag that was on the ground, I picked it up. But I was not feeling, but I was just that way, it did get picked up the following week, which is very odd.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you, I mean, I purposely left my note, not on Tuesday, on Friday, to see if it was through. And I took off, and I've been down a couple times, I saw the trucks running, I said, yeah, here we go.
I saw
I
it on
would-
Friday, yeah.
Well, no, they came by Friday and picked it up, so they did it.
I have my couch out there for 3 weeks now. I put the sticker on it.
Well,
Oh,
why,
no,
you
did
don't
you
want
put
me
the
to,
sticker on already?
somebody's gonna take
Sorry?
the sticker off.
They steal the stickers, so you wait till the
We
day
have-
out of the pickup.
We have 2 days a year, okay? This coming Friday is going to be the second week of the Friday normal garbage pickup, and then they have bulk pickup the same day, okay? So it's 2 different things they're doing on this coming Friday. So May 10th, which is this coming Friday, is the bulk pickup day. That's only, so you put it out the night before, the morning of, you put your sticker on it, or somebody will come by and sneak it off of yours and go take it for their own.
And then
Okay.
they won't pick
So-
it up if it doesn't have a sticker on it.
Right, and it has to be only on that day. They will take it this coming Friday, as long as your sticker's still on there.
Okay.
So you make sure it's on there. If I were you, I'd take it off until Friday, then put it back on.
I got 5 more stickers.
Oh, okay.
I got 3 houses. No, my dog ate my couch, so I got mad. I threw it off the porch and I threw it over the fence. And
But the couch or the dog?
The couch never dog.
so,
Put a sticker on the dog.
so, yeah, don't even talk about dogs and stickers. We had to put my dog down because the FedEx guy got bit. And he was 15 years old.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy.
So when FedEx comes to your house, or any of these guys, they're allowed to sue you,
Sure.
even though you work for that company. They're not like postmen or whatever, They go through any training. If you have signs up, beware of dog and all that,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
No.
Don't understand what it said.
No.
But anyway, make a long story short. So what am I gonna do with you about the posting? Do you want me to get that stuff from the state showing
Yeah,
the
something
way
to
you
show
live,
them,
the bridge
yeah,
laws
yeah,
and all that?
yeah.
I mean, I can tell he's already totally against it.
I'm not against it.
I'm not talking about a loaded truck, I understand, I agree with that. I spend, like I said, I've been here 30 years, I got a lot of money into this town. And I got 3 homes in this town, I gotta pay a lot of taxes in this town. Now I'm going 4 houses, so, enough.
You gotta do a competition.
Huh?
Yeah, competition with him.
But if you want me to come over my excavator, I'll rip that hole anytime you want.
Yeah, and I'd certainly like to look at it, but, also have to talk about the combined weight distribution business.
Right, I talked to the state,
Right.
I talked to DOT,
I'd be
I
glad
talked
to-
to them all, and you know what their comment was? The towns don't know what they're talking about. That was their comment. I says, well, if I give them all the paperwork of the bridge law, because we had a big thing with the feds over the bridge law. Our trailers weren't long enough and all kinds of stuff. And they finally straightened it out. But because there was, you know, if I thought I was gonna rip the roads up, I'd say no. I'll leave my truck at Caprizio's, I'll leave it at my other house, I'll leave it somewhere.
Right.
But I'm not hurting anything. And like I said, I've been doing it for 30 years up there, and I've never ripped up a road. The town trucks drive off the road and dig up the side of the road, but, you know, that's the driver, that's not.
Right. One comment about trash. On my road, lots of houses, big, big, big. Picked them all up in mine. And it was right out there because I always put it out before 7 o'clock. So how is it they can
Pick and choose.
Right,
skip over that?
right.
So I
And
called
You
them.
pick somebody off.
And everybody
I can
else
tell you-
on my side of the road
Yeah,
had.
well, you had
actually,
yours
somebody
not picked
had
up.
balls.
I don't like the canned answer, well, they must put it out after the truck went by. That one
That's
don't
always-
work.
Try and look when I go leave in the morning, but I just was like, it was just kind of funny because Pete had, hey bud, Pete was, he had like the week before, this is Junior.
Dogs and babies.
This is Junior.
Speaking of the trash, there are 2 questions on that.
Yeah.
One is, Does Middleton have any, I don't know if the word be arrangements or whatever, for yard waste? Cause I was told WM will not take it, but down in the district, at least where I'm at, we don't exactly have a lot of trees to throw all these leaves into.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what we're supposed to do.
Burn it.
Just burn it? Is that a special permit or is that your normal?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the normal burn permit or is that an additional
That's when you
permit?
can't get online, right?
That's exactly.
Alright, so that one I'd have to come up here and get a
So-
permit to burn.
So the ones you can get online, it's 2 feet by 2 feet. That's your seasonal campfire permit.
Right,
But to
The
get
rock
rid of
brush
stuff in the
piles.
base, that's one you need to get every time.
okay,
Brush pile.
right, yeah, cause, well, hopefully we'd only be doing it once a year. And we don't have a ton of trees, it seems to be like down both sides, but we tried putting out the yard waste and they
They
had
won't
said,
take
it
it.
doesn't matter if it's in the bags. We have a neighbor who has like half a dozen bags sitting in their front yard for pickup.
Won't
And I'm
take it.
like, they won't take it. I posted in the Facebook group with the hopes that maybe they'd see it and realize they're gonna have to deal with their bags of garbage or waste that are out there.
Have
So-
you considered talking to owners of vacant lots about putting the leaves there?
No. I did have one neighbor that said I could possibly dump them down the back of a ravine, but I don't know if I really wanna be trekking them down the road to her house to do that. So, but that's why I was just asking. If it's a burn permit once a year, you know, it's not that big of a deal.
The leaves really don't burn all that well.
No.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they
that's-
they lay flat and they smell
Right.
more than anything.
Yeah, we've always lived in the
They're wet.
city, you throw it in the thing, they do a yard waste day, and off it goes. So, we've never lived in a place where you
Some-
couldn't have it picked up.
You had a hard
Sometimes there's
time
people
burning
that
the
are
leaves?
asking, like if they have big tomato gardens, they're looking for the leaves to get in there and mulch them.
Okay.
Sometimes people. look-
Yeah, cause we were thinking about picking up like a, you know, for a lawnmower ride-on that has the mulcher, cause then we figured it would cut down on the mass of it.
Yeah.
But again, you still have to deal with,
Right.
you know, the residual.
Just cut the
of that.
trees down and the leaves won't come.
You know, I'm pretty sure our neighbors on all sides own all the trees around my house. Like, I think my property stops at the tree lines on both sides, so I don't even think I have control of the trees that are, you know, this
Sure
issue.
you do. You control all the pickup.
Yeah, pretty much, and the drainage but, okay, so that was the first question. The second question is, and the only reason I think of this is when will he start doing the code enforcement on the bags that are not in barrels? Because not that
We're
I'm
not
like,
supposed to have barrels, we're all supposed to be bags.
huh?
No, you're supposed to
No,
have
all
bags
bags
and
are supposed to be in
and
barrels.
covers on them.
Oh, now we gotta have the bag and the barrel?
It's always
Yeah.
been that way.
I was, no, I used to have the barrel, then they said, no, I needed the bag, so I put the bags, and then they said I
No,
didn't
you
need
need
the
the
barrel.
barrel. You
The
need the
reason I'm
bag with the
asking
barrel.
is if you
with the
drive
covers.
down, for example, I dropped my son off at the school Tuesday, and I ended up at the school 3 times, so I got to see the trash day all day long. And at the corner of Silver and New Durham is one house, massive pile of just garbage bags.
It's going
Not in
down.
a single barrel.
What's
Oh,
going
I'm
on?
sure it is, I haven't looked.
They haven't raked up the
And
residual
that's,
stuff
and
yet,
that's, and that's not our house either.
Huh?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I don't know which one's
That's
yours.
not right, that's not our
Yeah, I
house.
don't know where anybody
Oh, that's
lives,
where
just
Joe
for an
Bailey
FYI.
We live the next
Um,
house up, across the road.
Oh,
Piece of
okay.
fence,
Okay, alright.
just making sure.
But no, so there was that house, and there's quite a few houses just coming here from the Lake District where there's not even one barrel. I can see if you have, you know, a week or a couple weeks where you just have extra garbage, you don't have enough barrels, alright, you know, try to keep it clean.
Get an extra barrel.
To have, I'm just saying, for me, I really don't care about that occasional thing. But to have no barrels and to just have a mountain of garbage, and I don't see how one house can put out, you know, 40 bags of garbage in a week recurring. I'm just curious as to when that's gonna start.
Well, the friends dropped their garbage off at their house,
Yeah.
because Fountain charges money.
I see that as being a can of worms, boy.
It's gonna be a can of worms, I know.
Yeah, well,
Another
I
one.
mean,
Yeah, well, even my own, like,
that's gonna be a full-time
yeah,
It
even
don't
people
matter
like,
to me.
The only, my personal opinion, I'm not speaking for these guys, but the only way I can look at it is if you have garbage pickup on this day and people aren't taking care of the stuff, whatever, I think that's considered littering. You know,
Well, he
maybe,
didn't get picked up for what, 2 weeks? Did you bring your barrels back in or leave the trash out by the road?
They
Again,
came the next day.
I think reasonable comes into it, but I would think reasonably, my thought process would be like if I was if I had a summer home, which I'm not that wealthy, but, and I was gonna leave on Sunday, and I knew my trash was gonna be out there, I would probably build a,
No, you can't.
Can't build it.
No, because waste management won't get
Oh,
into that.
No, they made me take mine down.
Yeah, because it's considered hazardous.
Nails and
so
screws.
see, now I think that's
Hold on.
unreasonable.
Joanne?
Well, maybe we need a
Yeah,
permit.
wait a minute, Joanne, go ahead.
Right, well, I mean,
Hey, hold on, get somebody else, Joanne.
It would be nice if when somebody wanted to speak, they could raise a hand and be recognized, and we could do it a little more orderly, and then I wouldn't have to
I
stand
just
here
did
with my arm up.
recognize you.
I know, but others, anyway. In answer to Joe, does the town have a littering ordinance of some sort and some kind of penalty against littering?
You know, I have to go back and look, I think,
I think there's an ordinance
I
that
think
says,
so too, and I think it's like $100 fine.
but you're right when you say it's a can of worms. You take a plastic container with no lid. Does that count? Squirrels get right into it. All right, you have a plastic container with a lid. Squirrels eat through the lid, creating a mess. So just saying it has to be in a barrel does not by itself solve the problem. They get right into them anyway. Yes.
so,
You didn't get called on, did you?
oh,
I recognize that. Go ahead.
if I put my trash out and some scaby ass raccoon comes over and rips that out of there, you give me $100 fine, we're gonna have problems, I can tell you that right now,
The rabbits might.
you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's why I said within reason. If somebody's made the attempt, at least, then I can see giving them a warning. Say, hey, you know,
Right.
within a day of the garbage being
Oh.
torn apart, it wasn't cleaned
Mine
up.
have covers,
Yeah.
and I think you're probably gonna have to write an ordinance saying, no, I'm serious, because I see that, you know what I mean, you put that garbage out there on Sunday, and,
Right.
and it's gonna sit there till Friday, I guarantee, and they could put it in there as nice and neat as they want to, it's not gonna matter, crows, and those crows are bad, they can lug a 20-pound bag of garbage out.
Okay, Joanne?
One of the things that helps us keep animals from getting into our garbage, and you can also, by the way, if you crush your plastic bottles and cans and things like that, it gets a lot smaller bag. But when we have bones or grease or things like that, grease I put into a tub in the freezer, bones I put into a bag in the freezer, and they stay there until the day of trash. And if you put them out that night or that morning, really there's far less odor, far less attractiveness to the animals, because there's not so much odor, they're not gonna be going after this stuff, so.
I thought I was the only one that did that.
No, I gotta tell you, I can't say this.
No, we do the same thing. We keep it in the fridge
Alright.
and clean it out at the last minute.
So, but,
Folks, have we discussed enough? Mary?
Just one more trash conversation, because we're in the trash
I think we
business
trashed this
apparently.
topic, yeah.
And thankfully, this is like very minor compared to the things that the town could be dealing with. But I have a suggestion for those that leave to go back to Massachusetts, like on a Sunday night, because they've had a great weekend in the town of Middleton, and we appreciate them. Is to talk to their neighbors and have, a neighbor perhaps with the can, with the cover,
Bring
hey,
out
can you do me a
roadside
favor?
Friday morning.
Can you do me a favor? I'll make a cake for you next weekend, or we can barbecue at my house next weekend. And just have a trash buddy and get them to pull out the trash for you.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal.
Community, it's
Right.
for the community.
What else can we go through tonight? Any other world problems we need to solve? Bill, anything from you?
Did you have some
Thank
things
you,
that
Bill.
we talked about earlier today?
Yeah,
Just
I
a
wanted to
question
give
about
you
that.
public, non-public,
Okay,
when we pull the meetings.
Oh.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're gonna have those earlier than the.
that's fine, so that conversation that we had this morning, I'm still waiting for the okay to do that.
The HR thing.
Correct.
Yes. That is a yes, that's being talked about right now. So, can you meet tomorrow?
I can.
Because that becomes a non-public.
Right, so you know my feelings on that, so.
All right, enough said?
That's it.
All right. Other new topics? Price of tea in China. No.
Motion to adjourn at 8:06.
I
Okay,
second.
second. All right, all in favor? Aye. Thank you for coming.
So when can we bring that